She closed her eyes to die and opened them to see a human holding her. Smoke rose in slow spirals from the burning wreckage of the battlefield, thick with the scent of charred metal and blood. Among twisted steel and scorched alien soil, the warrior woman lay motionless. Her armor was cracked, her body limp. Crimson ichor from her wounds trickled into the blackened dust. She had fought with all she had, until she could no longer lift her blade. The last thing she remembered was a blast that tore her unit apart, and then the unbearable silence that followed. The stars overhead were dim, her vision blurred. The cold crept into her bones. She was ready to die, so she closed her eyes. Let this be the end. But the end never came. Instead, warmth, gentle arms, a breath not her own. She opened her eyes, just barely, and blinked against the sunlight piercing through the clouds. A face, not of her kind. "Human, you're alive," the human whispered. She stared at him, dazed, unsure she was hallucinating. The war between their species had raged for years. No human had ever touched her without a weapon in hand. But this one, he was holding her like she mattered. "Why?" she rasped, her voice cracked and broken. "Because you don't deserve to die here," he said, his tone raw. She tried to move, but a sharp pain coursed through her ribs. She groaned, and he immediately steadied her. "Don't. You're hurt." His armor was scorched, and there were cuts across his face. A soldier, clearly, but the way he held her, so carefully, it didn't match anything she'd been told about humans. "You are supposed to hate us." He chuckled bitterly. "I was told the same about your people. And yet here I am, trying to save one." She looked away, ashamed. "I killed your kind, many." His jaw clenched, but he didn't let go. "And I've killed yours. Maybe we both have blood on our hands. But I'm not leaving you here." She didn't understand. She wasn't royalty. She wasn't valuable. Just another soldier left to die on a forgotten battlefield. Yet the human lifted her with effort, staggering as he cradled her in his arms. "Your people will kill me," she muttered. "They'll try," he said, "but I'm fast." She was fading again, her head resting against his shoulder as he moved through the broken war zone. His warmth steadied her. She didn't want to admit it, but it felt safe. She awoke to firelight. It flickered against the stone walls of a cave. The pain in her body had dulled. Bandages, rough but carefully wrapped, covered her wounds. The human sat nearby, sharpening a blade. He glanced up as soon as he noticed her stirring. "You're awake." She struggled to sit, but he moved to support her again. "You saved me," she said softly. He nodded once. "I couldn't just leave you. But we're enemies." "Not today." She stared into the fire, trying to make sense of it all. "You risked your life for someone you didn't even know." He shrugged. "Maybe I'm tired of only seeing enemies." "Who are you?" "Elias," he said. "Sergeant. Or I was." She paused. "Sarala." They sat in silence for a while. The wind howled outside the cave, but inside it was still. "You were brave back there," Elias said. "I saw you hold that line. You didn't flinch." She smiled weakly. Bravery or stupidity, they often looked the same. His laugh was quiet. "Maybe, but you fought to protect your own. I respect that." No one had ever spoken to her like that. Not her commanders. Not her peers. Especially not a human. "You really patched me up?" she asked. "Yeah. Took a med kit off one of the wrecks. I had to guess on some things. Hope I didn't mess it up too bad." Sarah looked down at herself. The bandages were soaked in faint blue stains. Her blood, but she felt better. "I've never been cared for like this," she whispered, "even by my own." Elias's brow furrowed. "That's not right." She looked at him, her silver eyes uncertain. "Why are you doing this?" He hesitated. then said, "Because I saw someone dying and I didn't want to lose her." The next few days passed slowly. Elias hunted small game. Sarah slowly regained her strength. Sometimes they talked. Sometimes they simply listened to the wind outside. The war felt distant now, like it belonged to another lifetime. She learned he had lost his brother in the first year of the conflict, that he had questioned the cause ever since. He learned she was the daughter of a mechanic, a woman drafted into war with no choice. They were supposed to be enemies, but it no longer felt that way. One night, she asked, "Do you think we could ever go back?" Elias looked at her. To what? To the way it was before the war. He was quiet for a long moment. "No," he said, "but maybe we can go forward." They were found on the seventh day, not by enemy troops, but by survivors from both sides, deserters, rebels, those who had also grown tired of killing. And they saw Elias and Sarah not as a threat, but as proof. Proof that kindness could survive war, that maybe peace could, too. Years later, when the war ended and new governments rose from the ashes, the story of the alien woman who closed her eyes to die and the human who held her became legend, not because of glory, not because of power, but because in the darkest place, on a ruined battlefield between stars, one chose to save the other, and that choice changed everything.